Today I will be showing you how to change a car tire. Some disclaimers before we start are that this is a 1996 Honda Accord, and if you have a different vehicle, the tools and the things that will come with the car will be most likely different from this one. Another disclaimer before we start is that if your vehicle has hubcaps, which this one does not, then you'll have to take an extra step when changing your tire. Now, I would like to show you the tools that we're going to need for this project. Here are the tools you will be needing in order to change your car tire. Starting at the left side of the screen are 2 planks of wood, which you'll be putting underneath your car tires in order to keep your car from rolling away while you're changing the car tire. Next up is the hook, which will be used to operate the jack by cranking it so it elevates the car. After that is the lug wrench, which will be used to remove lug nuts and also to operate the jack. After the lug wrench is the jack itself, which will be used to elevate your car in order to change its car tire. Next up is a pair of gloves, which is advised by DMV.org, so that your hands are safe the whole entire time through this process. In this car, the tools will be located in the trunk of the car. You'll have to lift up the floorboard, and the lug wrench and the hook will be sitting along with the spare tire. But to find the jack, you'll have to unscrew this compartment on the right hand side of the car, open it up, and your jack will be sitting right there. Another thing you're going to want to do before you start the process of changing your tire is you're going to want to go into your car. And in this car, the parking brake is this lever right here, which you will press the button, lift it straight up, and then release, and it will stay. That means your parking brake is now on. Today I will be changing the front passenger side tire of the car. So what you're going to want to do to get started is you're going to want to put your jack underneath the lift point of the car. This is located behind whatever tire you're changing, and it's this point right here. You're going to want to try and get the slot of your jack centered with the lift point. This point is where it will rest against the slot on your jack, which will elevate your car so that you can change its tire. To start off with, we're going to elevate it enough so that it will be taking most of the weight of the car, but not fully elevating the car, so we can loosen those bolts before we completely take them off when the car is fully risen. Now what you're going to want to do is start cranking it by hand so that it just rests against that lift point. Make sure you get it in the center of the lift point. Now it is touching. At this time, you're going to want to get your hook and then put it in the 2 holes of the jack. Then you're going to want to get your lug wrench, and there will be a hole right here that you will insert the end of the hook in with, and you'll start to crank it clockwise to raise the car. Now that the jack is taking most of the weight, we can begin to loosen up the lug nuts. To start off, to begin to loosen the lug nuts, you're going to need your lug wrench, and then you'll put it in to the lug nut. You're going to want to twist this counterclockwise to loosen. You don't want to take these fully off, you just want to loosen them. Now that the lug nuts are loosened, we can go back to cranking up the jack so that the car is fully elevated. You're going to want to get the tire high enough so that it's just right off the ground. Now you're going to want to finish unscrewing all the lug nuts. If you can do them by hand, that's great. But if they're still on there, kind of tough, you'll have to use your lug wrench again. Now you'll want to remove your tire. After you remove your original tire, you will then proceed to get your spare. Again, this spare was located in the trunk underneath the floorboard, but that's just for this car. If you have a different car, the place where it's located may be different. So lift up the floorboard, and your spare will be held together by this screw in. You want to unscrew that and then take out your spare. Now that you have your spare tire out of your trunk, you can then proceed to attach it to your car. Make sure that the side that has this sticking out is facing outward. So then you're going to attach that, so line it up to the screws. Then you're going to want to get your lug nuts and just screw them in loosely. Now that you got all your lug nuts screwed back in, you're going to want to lower the jack down. And now you're going to want to twist it counterclockwise. Now you're going to want to get your lug wrench and tighten up the lug nuts. Bridgestone Tires advises you to make a star pattern, but since there are only 4 lug nuts instead of 5, which is there will usually be, but these car tires are especially small, you'll have to just do like an X. Another piece of advice that Don Jacobs Honda claimed is that you should push down, like start at a downward position when tightening your lug nuts, so that it decreases any chance that you might roll your car off of the jack when you're tightening your lug nuts. Now that your lug nuts are fully tightened, you can go ahead and lower the jack the rest of the way and then pull it out. And now you got your brand new changed tire.